Hi my sweet friends, and welcome back to Crochet Every Day with Judy. Yes, I'm not in my chair right now. This is my update on my 2021 make-alongs, crochet-alongs because I'm crocheting them. One of them is a make-along because you can do other things, but mine are crochet-alongs. So first of all, let's start with the temperature project. Many people make a temperature blanket. I'm just making a temperature scarf, and it's going to be probably like a Doctor Who scarf because it's going to be so long. But this, from this stitch marker up to the top, is the month of August. All 80s and 90s. And there are more 80s this in September too. We're having kind of a hot spell. So anyway, that is my temperature scarf. And each month I have shown my progress, but I'll just show you that, you know, there's a lot of progress. So at the end of the year, I'll show you the whole thing. And I may or may not put a border around it. I'm not sure. So that's my temperature project. And that one is being led by Katrina at Mindful Crafts and More. I will link her below. The next one is being led by Christy at Crochet Creations by Christy. And it's this Pineapple Afghan by Judy Teague Treese. And it calls for a 4-weight yarn, an Aran yarn. And Christy is making hers exactly to the pattern, and it will be an heirloom project for her daughter. I'm making mine with some cotton yarn that I have from Hobby, and this was the color that I did for September. I haven't blocked any of them. Once I block them, they'll straighten out, and then I'll put them together at the end of the year. So that will be great. In fact, I might make a few more squares because this will just have 12, and rather than it be a throw size, I'd like it a little bit larger. And I won't have used up all my cotton, so I may mix some colors and have some multicolored squares, and then I have more white, and I'll do a couple of white squares so I can make it a bit bigger. Okay, the next one is the Birthstone Make-Along by Judy at Witch Piece Craft. And she said you can do any project so long as you do 4 rows each month. And she gives you the birthstone for the month and then tells you all the colors that birthstone may come in. Now, I never can remember if January is garnet or ruby, but it was a red one. February was amethyst, March aquamarine, April diamond, and I did pink diamonds for that, emerald for May, pearl for June, and I chose to do white, and then ruby or garnet for July, peridot for August, and then September is sapphire, and I chose the most common color for sapphire, which is it's called a velvet blue. So this is the virus shawl. It's one of my absolute favorite shawl patterns, and so I'm making my Birthstone Make-Along into a virus shawl. The last year-long Make-Along that I'm doing is with Jada in Stitches. She's doing a mile a minute blanket. Now she's she gives out a different pattern each month for that month's mile a minute strip, and this month it was a shell pattern. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's kind of an open shell and then a closed shell. And this one, most of the strips have been 3 to 3.5 inches wide, and then Jada is joining hers as she goes. I chose not to do that because these strips are about 60 or more inches long. And I thought I didn't want it to be 60 inches long and only about 36 inches wide. Although this one is 4 inches wide, so that's really nice. So I decided not to join mine as I'm going along. I will join them later. And I'll use the join as you go method. I'll just go by what she says. And it will still be the kind of the granny edging to join them together. So I'm using Dazzle-Air yarn. It's a Karen yarn, and it was discontinued many, many years ago, but I have a small collection of it. So that's what I'm using for my Mile a Minute blanket. I have strips in pink, I have strips in yellow, and strips in blue, and they're all edged in white. And I ran out of white Dazzle-Air, and it kind of has a sparkle to it, the Dazzle-Air yarn. But I'm using Big Twist, Joann's Big Twist yarn for the white edging. Let's see. There are two make-alongs that I'm doing that are 20 weeks long. Well, it's one make-along, but I'm doing two projects for it. Nancy of Nan's Next Knots runs what she calls a luck of the draw. She asks you to pick let me get my list, to pick a main color and then 8 other colors. And you do this in, your blanket ends up being striped, and she asks you to do 3, I think, rows of your main color and then 3 of that week's color. And we are on, this week will be week 8. For my first one, well, I started this out and I got up to about week 5, maybe it was 6, and I thought, you know what, I've got some other yarn that I could do this with as well. So here's my first one. My first one, my main color is black. Hard to work with, I know, and wasn't the brightest thing to do. But then I chose bright colors to go with it, rainbow colors in essence. And I think this, yes, it goes this way. So we've had, to go with the black, we've had a yellow, a purple, and there's one that you really can't see. It's a dark, dark blue in here, and you can almost not differentiate it from the black. Then there's another blue and green, and then purple got chosen again, and that other, the lighter blue, brighter blue got chosen again. So I started out using these colors, and then I realized, okay, I have this 2 Karen 1-pounders in an off-white. So I thought, well, I'll get out some other yarns and make another one. So I got caught up, and now I'm doing 2 of them each week. Let's see, where, yes, we ended here. So my off-white is the main color, and I couldn't even tell you, I can't even remember all of the brands and what the names are of these. But we had a green, and then we had a multi, and then another multi, then another multi, even though you can't tell, kind of, then yellow, and one of the first multis again, and then one of the other multis again. So this is my other Nan's Next Knots blanket, and this will be nice. These will then be ready for Christmas, because her 20 weeks will end in December. So these will make nice gifts. And I may finish the others before Christmas as well, except for the excuse me, temperature blanket. That might have to be a New Year's gift. So that's, oh, one other thing. I've been keeping my ball bands and figuring out how many yards I use each month. Now, some of these months, like this one and probably September, are going to not be quite true, because if I don't use a complete skein, ball, hank, donut of yarn, whatever. I keep the ball band with it, and then I may finish it off in another project, and that's what some of these are. So I used 16 ball bands in August for a total of 3,531 yards. Now I've been keeping track of these every month, and at the end of the year I will see how many yards I have used. Last year, I just started this last year like in August, and of course with the lockdown I was doing so much crocheting. I mean, I still am, but I used over 20,000 yards of yarn just from August through December of last year. So this will be interesting to see how much I've used this year. So that's it for this video. Like, share, subscribe. I always love having new family members, and I appreciate each and every one of the family members I have. You all keep me going. So I want you to always remember you are the light of the world. So be sure and let your light shine, because you never know when someone else might need your light to get them through their darkness. Thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you. Bye-bye.